Jai Shri Ram. We are now looking into the Shalya Parva. Shalya. After the death of Karna, Duryodhana was crying, Karna, Karna. Ashwadhama consoled him. And then on his advice, he made Ashwadhama's advice. Shalya was made the commander in chief. Shalya formed a vyuham called Sarvato Bhadra Vyuham. He was physically as strong as Bhima. So, around 3 crore soldiers were there on the side of Kauravas, 11,000 chariots, around 11,000 elephants, 2 lakh horses. Pandavas had only 6,000 chariots, 4,000 elephants, 10,000 horses. Kauravas still had 2 lakh horses, and Pandavas had only 1 crore soldiers. So, whatever it was, the battle started. And this is the what you call Karna died on the 17th day evening. So 18th day Shalya was the commander of the Kaurava forces. Shalya is the maternal uncle of the Pandavas. You see, this is exactly how our lives, our history also went on. Our own people, powerful people, worked against our own interest. I don't want to name them now because we still don't have any freedom of speech. Hindus, I cannot openly criticize anything about any religion or any leader, but they can abuse us also. This is the sad state. So this is another lesson from Mahabharata. When brothers fight, the outsider will come. When 2 cats were fighting for a chapati, the monkey ate the chapati, whole of the chapati. You know the story. I don't want to repeat that now. So Shalya and Bhima first fought. Both fainted. Both fainted and both had to be carried away. Just imagine. So that means Shalya was as powerful as... Shalya was not only as powerful as Bhima, Shalya additionally had a boon. If anybody entered a fight, anybody entered into a fight with him, with any malice towards him, then he had the ability to hoover, to suck out that fellow's strength. In the sense, it's a magical kind of transformation. That means the other fellow's strength gets transferred to Shalya in case if he happens to hate or have some negative emotion towards Shalya. So the only person who could kill Shalya was Yudhishthira, and Yudhishthira killed Shalya. Because Yudhishthira is Ajata Shatru. He has no malice for anybody. He is the friend of all. He is a true friend of all. Just like Krishna, he is a true friend of all. No enmity towards anybody. That's why only Yudhishthira was told by Krishna to attack. Because Arjuna and Bhima could not. Because they had some anger against him. So this is the thing about Shalya. Drishtadhyumna and Duryodhana had a fight. Duryodhana fainted and he was taken away. Bhima and Duryodhana had a fight. Duryodhana fainted, defeated, again removed from the field. So Yudhishthira killed Shalya finally, and also Shalya's brother. Bhima killed Salva. Bhima killed Shalya. So many other people are with the same name. And Satyaki killed Salva, commander of the Mlecha's army. And there are so many Salvas actually. There is another Salva killed by Krishna, who kidnapped Krishna's grandson. Here there is a Shalva, who is a commander of a Mlecha army. So Satyaki killed him. Sahadeva killed Shakuni. He also killed Shakuni's son Uluka. Uluka went as a messenger. Okay. So Duryodhana gave a big pep talk towards the end. He said, let us fight to the finish because our army is bigger and all that. So Duryodhana's role, nothing. This is not shown. Duryodhana gave an awesome speech inspiring the soldiers. Come on, whatever it might be, we will not give up, we will fight. So all these things have been conveniently ignored in the movies. But Arjuna and Bhima completely smashed the whole army. They routed and annihilated, destroyed everything. So Duryodhana finally ran away. He, using his yogic power, Jalastambhana, he got into a lake and settled at the bottom. He created a kind of cocoon for himself Jalastambana is a siddhi with which he could sit there unperturbed, and he was sitting in dhyana with his yogic power and all that. He could stay unhurt within the water. So only 3 persons remained, that is on the Kaurava side only 3 people were alive. Kritavarma, Kripacharya and Ashwadhama. Kritavarma was a Yadava warrior who joined Duryodhana with one Akshohini. Kripacharya is the brother-in-law of Dronacharya. He is a Chiranjeevi, mind you. Ashwadhama is also a Chiranjeevi. Ashwadhama also survived. When Satyaki saw Sanjaya, the man who narrated the whole of the Bhagavad Gita to Dhritarashtra, Satyaki wanted to kill Sanjaya. But Vyasa intervened and said, no, spare him. Similarly, Yuyutsava was a brother, step-brother of Duryodhana. The Kauravas were 101 brothers and 1 sister. And Dhritarashtra married Gandhari's maid-servant when Gandhari was pregnant for 2 years. So Dhritarashtra was a lusty old fellow. So he had an issue. The son of this maid-servant was Yuyutsu. Yuyutsu was one of the members of the Cabal, Cabal, Chandal Chokadi, Dushta Chatushtayam, the conspirators, the plotters. The 4 were actually Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna and Shakuni, and the 5th member was Yuyutsu, who was a person who was very dharmic. And so he was the infiltrator of the Pandavas. That means right from the childhood, Yuyutsu had a very dharmic bent of mind. And Duryodhana never realized. Duryodhana, in all his goodness, used to take extra care of Yuyutsu because he didn't want Yuyutsu to be discriminated, alienated, marginalized, because of Kula Vivaksha. Caste does not exist in Hinduism. So because his mother came from an inferior Kula, there are some people who used to disrespect and demean and disparage. So Duryodhana had some very positive dimensions in his personality. So he used to take extra care of Yuyutsu and keep Yuyutsu by his side all the time, even in the most confidential plotting, all the discussions, boardroom discussions. Cabal, Cabal, group of plotters. But Yuyutsu was a dharmic person. So he always used to inform Dharmaraja all the plans. This Dharmaraj, Duryodhana came to know of this very late. You know when he came to know? After the Bhagavad Gita was delivered by Krishna, then the next thing that happened was Yudhishthira got down from his chariot, removed his crown and removed all his weapons and left them there on the chariot, and started walking barefoot towards the Kaurava army. Now you can imagine such scene. Everyone was shocked. Pandavas were also wondering what the hell is happening. Why is Yudhishthira doing this? Kauravas thought that this fellow has completely lost his courage. He has got unnerved. He is now scared, and perhaps he is coming to say sorry. He doesn't want to fight or something like that. This bloody coward, something like that they were thinking. Yudhishthira went straight to Bhishma, Drona, and Kripacharya and Shalya. Took their blessings, and all of them used one word to describe themselves: Kleb. Kleb means impotent. So that means they were already feeling very bad and depressed because they were behaving like impotent fellows, fighting on the wrong side of the war. But they expressed their helplessness because they were living on the salary given by Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra. So they felt their duty was bound there. So that is where they made a mistake. Never give up dharma. That is the lesson of Mahabharata. Dharma is more important, not jihad. Adharma. So Ramaraya, the king of Vijayanagara Empire, had 4 divisions in his army, 2 divisions led by Muslims. Actually, these Muslims were orphans whom he brought up, nurtured them, gave them an important position and status, and he gave them in charge of 1 division of the army. So 4 divisions, 2 divisions were led by jihadis. And Bahmani sultans, all of them attacked Ramaraya because they were humiliated, they lost, and they kissed the feet of Krishna Dev Raya, and Krishna Dev Raya spared them, which is, I think, a mistake Krishna Dev Raya did. He should have finished them because snakes cannot be allowed to live. Jihadi terror was there then also. They escaped with their lives and ganged up, and they wanted to take revenge on Vijayanagara Empire. Ramaraya was a very naive person, not like Krishnadevaraya or Shivaji. Shivaji was the smartest of them all. He knew what these rascals were up to. So he never spared anybody. Ramaraya, with all his secularism in his head, he foolishly nurtured these vipers. And at the last minute, when the Bahmani Sultans, 5 of them, ganged up to take revenge against Vijayanagara Empire, these 2 rascals defected. For them, jihad became more important. No, just imagine, they were nurtured, orphans, brought up, given status. They forgot. No gratitude. At the last minute, they changed sides. They joined the enemy. So Ramaraya's half his army plus the army of the Bahmani Sultans. Vijayanagara Empire was defeated. Ramaraya was beheaded by Adil Shah, and women were raped, children were taken away as sex toys, and men, non-combatants were butchered, looting, arson, everything was set on fire. For 6 months, Vijayanagara Samrajyam was destroyed and burnt and raped and looted. This is the biggest lesson in history. Such lessons in history are full. There are so many such lessons, but Hindus are still not learning. And if I talk about this, they say, many people have told me I am spreading hate. No, I am not spreading hate. I am telling you the truth. Please check up. So if you want to allow vipers into your house and sleep with a viper, that is up to you. I am only telling you, be careful. The viper belongs in the zoo, or if it enters the house, it has to be killed. There is no option. Unless you are a snake charmer and a snake catcher, in which case you catch it and put it in a cage. It deserves to be in a cage or a zoo or dead. Nothing else. No hatred here. Yudhishthira had no hatred. He killed Shalya. Shalya was a viper. He is a bloody idiot. Shalya was a bloody drunkard. He was the maternal uncle of the Pandavas. But he took all the hospitality of Duryodhana without checking who is the host. And finally, when he landed up at Delhi, he came to know it was Duryodhana who was giving all the hospitality. He asked him, what do you want? He said, fight for me. So Shalya could have said, no, I can't. Okay, I'll pay you for all the hospitality. Get lost. He could have done that. Your bloody brain is not working, na? Gadha Sala. So Shalya was a bloody idiot and a drunkard. Once you are a drunkard, you are finished. So many Indian Rajas were drunkards and leading a cyberitic life. SYBA, cyberitic. RITIC. Sybarite means a lover of luxury. Hedonism, hedonist. So hedonistic lifestyle, cyberitic lifestyle, lechers, libidinous, lascivious, lusty rascals. That is why India, we Hindus fell prey. Many Hindu Rajas became sycophants of the invaders. And this is our history. Shalya is a perfect example of a very powerful, strong king but addicted to women and wine. Finished. So if you are loose in character, then you are the biggest traitor of the country. A person who has a loose character can never be trusted. So this is Shalya's situation. Shalya finally was killed by Yudhishthira. Now, let us get back. So, what next? So Yuyutsu, Dharmaraja took the blessings. They all blessed him. They also felt very bad. They expressed, yes, we can't help it. We are on the wrong side. But you will be victorious. That's what they said. Imagine. And Yudhishthira, on his return, that is, he is walking back and getting back to his chariot. Halfway, that is midway between the Pandava army and the Kaurava army, Yudhishthira paused for a second, looked at the Kauravas and addressed them, said, see, all of you are fighting an adharmic war. You are on the wrong side of Dharma. I am giving you this final opportunity. If you can join us, you will be spared and you will live for Dharma. All of you who are on the side of Adharma will be destroyed. We will wipe you all out. So Dharmaraja is not Yudhishthira is not a weak character, not a milk toast like Manmohan Singh. He was not a sissy. He was a great man. He was an incarnation of Dharmadevata. Dharmadevata is the Manasaputra of Brahma. Yama is different. Many people think that he is Yama's son or Yama's incarnation. Wrong. Dharmadevata, part incarnation is Dharmaraja and part incarnation is Vidura. So anyway, now Dharmaraja, Yudhishthira made an offer and everyone was worried. Who will defect now? Carpetbagger. CARPET. Carpetbagger means a political opportunist who at the last minute he will abandon the party and join the opposition, because if there is a scope of winning, he will join that party. Because politics is the game of expediency. So everyone on the side of Kauravas were watching what the hell is going to happen now. So only one person, Yuyutsu, the stepbrother of Duryodhana, he removed his crown, left his weapons, barefoot started walking. He did namaste to Duryodhana, Bhishma, all of them, and slowly walked towards Dharmaraja and joined Dharmaraja. That was the time Duryodhana had an epiphany. Flash of insight. Duryodhana realized, all along I trusted this fellow and he backstabbed me. All the plotting and everything was informed to Dharmaraja by Yuyutsu. Yuyutsu is a word which means one who is desirous of war, one who is ever ready for war. Not that he is a hawk or anything. He is ever ready. He will never back out from a fight. So he was a true warrior. So Yuyutsu survived the war also. Okay. So Yuyutsu was given an important post, something like a mayor of Delhi at that time. So Yuyutsu also survived. Now Kripacharya, Kritavarma and Vashwadhama went to the lake where Duryodhana was hiding. They asked him to come up and fight, because it is the duty to fight till the end. Duryodhana thanked them for the affection and said, okay, I'll take rest now. We will think of it the next day. We'll consider it the next day. That means, you see, that is the next day, that is the 19th day. 18th day's war is over. The discussion between Duryodhana and these three was heard by some hunters, and they informed to Bhima, Yudhishthira. So thereupon Yudhishthira came to the lake and asked Duryodhana to come out. Yudhishthira told him, no use hiding now. You cannot hide. Thereupon Duryodhana said, I am alone. I have no follower. I just want to take rest, and I will kill all of you one by one afterwards. Anyway, he also said, I'll go to the forest and you can rule the country. You enjoy the country. He said all these, he was ranting like an idiot. Yudhishthira told him, you lost in the battle. You have no right to give the kingdom. You cannot give the kingdom. You already lost. You refused to give us even a small portion of the earth covered under a pin also. Needle. Now you want to bloody donate the kingdom? Who is the owner now? How can I take the kingdom from you, man? You don't have any kingdom. You are a loser. Duryodhana then said, I don't have a chariot. I don't have a horse. No armor, no weapon, nothing. Yudhishthira said, okay, come out. We will give you all the weapons you want. Take any weapon you want. And have you forgotten what you have done? And now you are talking about dharma. You murdered Abhimanyu. All of you ganged up and murdered him. Now you rascal, of course you didn't say the word rascal. Come up, take the armor, take anything you want. And if you kill any one of us, 5 brothers, we will give you the kingdom. And if you die anyway, you will go to heaven, okay? So Yudhishthira gave a wonderful talk. And Duryodhana came out. Krishna was watching, listening to all this. Krishna got terribly angry. This is probably the only time when Krishna got angry, or probably the second time. No, only the first time. The first time Vishwarupa, he did not get angry, he just laughed and showed his Vishwarupam in the court. So Krishna got angry and he said, hey Yudhishthira, what the hell, man? You are gambling now. Yudhishthira is gambling for the 3rd time. Krishna is admonishing Yudhishthira. How can you gamble now? You have again given preference to your vice of gambling. You have now placed yourself in such a terrible, precarious position. And you have placed all of us also in a great risk now. Because that Duryodhana, if he kills any one of you, if he fights against other than Bhima, he can easily kill any one of you in a mace fight. What kind of nonsense is this? So you can now imagine what might have happened. When Krishna was talking like this, Duryodhana's ego was aroused. And Bhima immediately said, no, I will fight this fellow. Bhima, by saying so, he picked Duryodhana's ego. Needled him. So Duryodhana said, do you think I am such a coward to fight against somebody who cannot match me in this mace fight? I will only fight with Bhima. He is a match for me. See, Krishna's ulterior motive in chiding and scolding Dharmaraja was to needle this fellow. Otherwise, again, Dharmaraja would have been killed. Gada Yuddham cheste Duryodhana would have won in a mace fight, and again Krishna would have to have bang his head. Are Baba, inta chesin tarvata, after doing so much, this fellow is now gambling again. So, see, God helps those who help themselves. Now, of course, He will help you if you have been really subjected to the worst kind of, iniquities, in spite of all your good nature. But then you have to do something for yourself, nah. So, fortunately, Krishna's ulterior plan worked, and Duryodhana said, "Okay, I will fight only with Bhima." Everyone was happy. Bhima also shouted, "Yes, Krishna, I will finish this fellow. Don't worry," he told everyone. And everyone was happy. At that point, Balrama came to the spot. Balrama, who did not participate in the whole war, he went on a Tirtha Yatra. There were two people who did not fight, Rukma, elder brother of Rukmini, and Balrama. So Balrama came to the spot because he heard all this was going on, and he said, "Okay, let this final match be held in the Samanta Panchaka." Shamanta Panchaka is a place where all the 5 lakes are there. In fact, it is believed that these 5 lakes, which now have water, were once filled with the blood of Kshatriyas that Parashurama killed. Because Kshatriyas, the kings and administrators, had become corrupt. And of course, it was an overkill. Parashurama overdid it. But many rascals died. So, Jamadagni was killed by Sahasra Kartavirya Arjuna, Kshatriya. Sahasra Arjuna. So, Parashurama avenged his father's death by killing that fellow, and also 21 generations of Kshatriyas. And their blood is believed to have filled up these tanks, and which is now full of water. Balrama said, anyway, that place is very, very holy, so let us have this fight there, because that place is equal to heaven. People who die there are sure to live in heaven. Okay, anyway. So everyone went there. Then, interestingly, Arjuna asked Krishna quietly, "What is your opinion? Who is stronger? Who will win?" Please listen carefully. Krishna said, "Bhima has greater strength, but Duryodhana has greater skill, and he was also working harder. He had a big gym, and he got a big statue made of Bhima of pure steel, and he was banging it, pepping himself up for the forthcoming battle. And he trained himself like Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee said, I am not scared of a person who knows 10,000 different kicks, but I am scared of the person who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." So Duryodhana has practiced, so much that he is an absolute master now at mace fight. Bhima unfortunately was in the jungle. No gym, no workout, no practice, nothing. And no mace fighting. He was eating also. Diet was also terrible. He was eating roots and berries and all that. He was physically stronger. But remember, physical strength and skill, which one will? The man with skill will overpower sheer strength. Okay, you see what happens in the Spanish bullfight also. The bull has, oh my God, 400 kilos body, 300 kilos body, huge bull, and it is so strong. But finally, with a sword, skillfully using, the matador kills the bull. So Krishna said the same thing. And Krishna said, if Bhima fights fairly, that is dharmically, he will not win. Therefore, only if he fights unfairly, he will be able to kill Duryodhana. And Krishna added, it is well known, wicked people are always to be defeated by cunning only, because they are already cunning. And with their cunning, and in Kali Yuga, they gather lot of strength. And so you cannot kill the crooked, wicked person fairly. That is especially in Kali Yuga. So even Devas, Krishna told Arjuna, even the Devas, several times in earlier Yugas also, they had to win battles against Asuras using deception, deceit, cunning, wiles and guiles. So, You see, if you are listening carefully, you in all these desert religions, they are taught to deceive the enemy. In case if we are not strong as the enemy, deceive them, gain their trust and backstab them. They are taught this thing in their religious schools. But we were taught dharma, 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 ahimsa. These things were applicable perhaps in the Satya Yuga. Even in Treta Yuga, you can see Ravanasura used deception to carry Sita away. So in Kali Yuga, it is pure deception. War is nothing but cheating and deception. And Prithviraj Chauhan, Prataparudra, Vikramaditya, Hemchandra Vikramaditya, he also lost to Akbar because of many fallacies. And Vijayanagara Samrajyam, Ramarayalu of Vijayanagara Samrajyam, with his naive thinking, he appointed two jihadis. He also lost. So even now it is not too late. At least now we should wake up. So Krishna is telling you something very, very simple. For the sake of adharma, for the sake of dharma, you have to undertake an adharmic activity, because that fellow is anyway adharmic. He is so strong and so cunning because having done so much adharma, he has put fear into the hearts of everyone. He has instilled terror into even the strongest dharmic person. So he is very strong. You cannot beat him using any dharmic method. And by the way, if you don't, you see, I also tell people, if you are a dharmic person who are living by the Bhagavad Gita, my suggestion is, you must cheat when you are face to face with an adharmic person, especially the desert rat. You know who are the desert rats? These are rats, bandicoots, pandikukkulu, gutter bandicoots. So when you are dealing with them, and if you don't loot and cheat and swindle, they will anyway swindle. Last 2000 years our history is they were looting, and we were talking about dharma. If you don't loot, they will loot and they will take away all the wealth and they will become even more stronger. So better you loot. You see, there are many fools. A fool and his money are soon parted, they say. It's an old English proverb. So the fools will lose their money. So better you take the money away, because if the adharmi takes the money away, your battle with the adharmi will become even more worse. You will lose. So better you cheat, better you loot, and better you become more cunning and more adharmic, because that is how a snake can be killed. A mongoose, observe a mongoose and snake fight. So there is no fairness there. Okay. So this is what Krishna gave, a small lecture which I elaborated. And if you still have doubts, I'll be glad to answer questions later. So Krishna told Arjuna about devas and how they had to win battles against asuras using deception. At this point, the fight was still raging. Bhima and Duryodhana were fighting. So if Bhima does not kill Duryodhana unfairly, we will lose the kingdom. After listening to Krishna, Arjuna struck his own left thigh in such a way that Bhima could notice it. Now this was a reminder to Bhima. See, Bhima swore when Draupadi was being stripped. When Duryodhana bared his left thigh, showed his naked thigh to Draupadi, told her, "Come, sit on my naked thigh, you are my slave." So you see, that is what, there was no slavery. Slavery doesn't exist in Hinduism. But at that point of time, Duryodhana, the evil personified, said something like this. Just imagine, if anybody says something like that to your wife, what would you do? Sudden provocation, that is sufficient to attack. Maim that fellow, law will also protect you. So Bhima swore that he will break that thigh. And he also swore that he will break the arms of Dushasana and drink his blood, because he was stripping Duryodhana. So Bhima killed Dushasana. He cut off his hands and drank his blood. He didn't drink, just put it to his mouth. So Bhima, in the thick of the fight, forgot this promise. So, and Krishna said what he said. Arjuna now realized that the via media, the way out, to circumvent this whole discussion about dharma, the best thing is Bhima should be reminded of his vow to break that fellow's thigh, which is as per rules unfair, because you cannot hit below the belt. in boxing or wrestling, no hitting below the belt. But he made a, he took an oath. Just imagine if a woman is being stripped and he is showing naked thigh, slapping his thigh, come, sit here. I mean, what a lusty kind of gesture. He should have broken that fellow's thigh then and there. But he said, I will someday break it. Now he was reminded by Arjuna. So the battle was going on. Duryodhana was displaying all his new-founded skills and he leaped into the air. These are all different maneuvers. Avasthana, it is called Avasthana. Avasthana maneuver. Avasthana maneuver. He leaped into the sky like the Shaolin masters, At that point, Bhima just hit the middle of it, the thighs, the crotch. So that means Duryodhana's kit was completely smashed. All his jewels, family jewels, the thighs were smashed. The fellow fell to the ground with a thud in terrible pain. So the fight is described by Vyasa wonderfully, the whole fight. Anyway, the sounds of thunder when the maces used to strike each other. With the thighs broken, he fell. The earth shook. And then loud wailing, then the trees and mountains began to tremble. Many soldiers on this side were very happy. And then Bhima laughed at him, told him, you bloody scoundrel, you wretch. You laughed at Draupadi when she had no cloth on her. In the middle of the assembly, you called her a cow. Now you see what has happened to you. This is the consequence of the humiliation you heaped on. So the Bhima shouted like that. And he struck the head. He put his foot on the head of Duryodhana. Yudhishthira said, no, don't do that. You don't insult a fallen enemy. And Yudhishthira regretted. Balarama also got very wild and he took his weapon, the plow, and he ran towards Bhima saying, I will kill you. No limit. You are violating and it's unfair. You have hit him below the waist and all that. So Krishna caught hold of Balarama very strongly. See, Balarama is Shesha Avatar. Balarama was never happy with Krishna. Balarama used to always say, what is this Maya Baba? I am not able to tolerate it. So Balarama was held by Krishna very strongly. And Krishna pacified Balarama, told him, listen, they are our relatives and great injustice has been done to them. Bhima took a vow that he will break these rascals' thighs. And also remember, Rishi Maitreya. There is an incident. Rishi Maitreya came to meet Dhritarashtra and he gave the advice that Dhritarashtra should not invite any battle, should not heap this humiliation on the Pandavas, give him a part of the kingdom and patch up with them. Then he was giving the same advice to Maitreya, Duryodhana. Duryodhana was, slapping his thigh. He was not even listening. He was slapping his thigh as a gesture of conveying indirectly that he is strong enough to kill all of them. So he was continuously rubbing and slapping his thighs, gloating over his strength. The Rishi got irritated and he said, you are slapping your thigh and rubbing your thigh. Your thighs will be broken and you will die because of that. So the Rishi cursed. So Krishna reminded Balarama also. So not only Bhima's vow, but also Maitreya's curse, that his thighs would be broken in the battle. So after this, Balarama kept quiet. His anger was pacified. But Balarama was insistent. He said, how can you justify this unjust act? On what principle can this be pardoned? So Balarama left. He was terribly angry. So Krishna said, this is Kali Baba. Balarama. So Pandavas took several vows. They all vowed that they will kill these fellows for the humiliation that they heaped on Draupadi. That was the unbelievable insult and all that was done to her. So Balarama was still not satisfied and he left the scene for Dwaraka. The next scene was Duryodhana started condemning Krishna. Duryodhana looked at Krishna and said, oh Yadava, you are a shameless fellow. I know I was struck down unfairly, most unfairly. And it is you who prompted Arjuna and you hinted it to Bhima to strike my thigh. He hinted, of course, you prompted Arjuna and Arjuna hinted it to Bhima. I noticed all this. You were responsible for the killing of Bhishma using Shikandi, killing Dronacharya with a false statement, with a lie, and also Karna and Bhurishrava by all unfair adharmic means. Then Krishna replied, you harvested the consequences of your own actions. You wanted to poison Bhima. You wanted to burn the Lakshagraha down. You humiliated Draupadi, called her a whore, tried to strip her. You shamelessly killed Abhimanyu against all rules of the battle. And you have no right to blame anybody except yourself. Now just shut up. So Duryodhana again replied, I have enjoyed the entire kingdom with great pleasure, performed many yajnas, undertook many infrastructure projects. I fought like a hero. Now I die. I will meet my friends in heaven. Then a shower of flowers dropped from the heavens. Gandharvas were beating drums and playing musical instruments, praising Duryodhana. Apsarasas also sang the glory of King Duryodhana. Siddhas were crying. They were all loudly crying. Jai ho to Duryodhana. The Pandavas felt shocked. Then interestingly, the Akashvani also came up. The Akashvani also said, yes, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Bhurishrava, all of them were killed unfairly. So then the Pandava camp was afflicted with guilt and remorse. And then Krishna told them, don't worry. He consoled all of them. When the enemy is powerful and cruel and cunning, and he has been gathering strength, adharmic means have to be used. This is Kali Yuga. And any great warrior, however great he might be, if he is supporting crimes, supporting adharma, supporting misogyny, misanthropy, and committing all kinds of unfair criminal activities, then there is nothing to regret in annihilating such evil terrorists by unfair means. So Krishna gave one more lecture. You see, you are dealing with a bloody terrorist. They're mass murdering. They're indulging in a holocaust. They're stripping women and, the worst kind of iniquities, enormities. So Krishna said, yes, there's nothing wrong. So finally, the Pandavas left and everyone felt consoled. Yudhishthira thanked Krishna, expressed his gratitude, because Yudhishthira knew that this battle could not have been won, the war could not have been won, nothing could have been won without Krishna, nothing, everything was won because of Krishna only. So Yudhishthira expressed his gratitude. The next interesting scene was Krishna asked Arjuna to get down from the chariot. First, normally the chauffeur gets down and opens the door for Arjuna. Got down and immediately the chariot burst into flames and became a heap of ashes. Everyone was shocked. Krishna explained. Several celestial weapons were used by Bhishma, Drona, Karna and many other great warriors. All of them were absorbed by me, and because of my presence the chariot was not burnt. Now that the purpose is over, I allowed the chariot to be burnt. So again people realized how obliged they were to Krishna. So many Pandavas, they went to the Duryodhana's tent and took all the jewelry, ornaments and all that. And Krishna told Pandavas and Satyaki that tonight they should rest at a holy place instead of the battlefield. They went to a river, Oghavati was there. They took rest on that night there. So Yudhishthira requested Krishna to go to Gandhari and Dhritarashtra to pacify them and console them. So Krishna agreed and he went to Hastinapura. And Vedavyasa also happened to be there. And who was there, and Vedavyasa narrated all the events, and Gandhari wept bitterly. Remember, Gandhari is going to curse Krishna later. So this woman, she blindfolded herself. See, when the husband is blind, because of a misplaced kind of value system, She thought as a Pativrata she has to do this. Instead, if she had kept her eyes open, she could have probably brought up Duryodhana the right way. Instead of that, she undertook this vow and actually contributed to her own misery. Now she wept bitterly, and Vedavyasa consoled her. Told her, yes, there's nothing we can do because this fellow did all those things and he harvested. These are all the repercussions of evil, adharma. And both Dhritarashtra and Gandhari agreed that yes, it was the adharma and the stupid attitude of Duryodhana. Even after Krishna repeatedly, they know that he is the Paramatma. So now they agreed. And Gandhari did not have any anger against the Pandavas. And Krishna asked Dhritarashtra and Gandhari also, told her not to have any harbor any ill will and not to cry over the consequence. Anyway, remember Gandhari and Dhritarashtra are heavenly personalities. They came down for this whole drama. Dhritarashtra was an advisor for Kubera, the brother of Ravanasura. Anyway, so Krishna told them, see, I have to go urgently because I suspect that Ashwadhama is planning to harm Pandavas during the night. And Sanjaya also went and met Duryodhana and wept bitterly. Duryodhana consoled Sanjaya. Duryodhana told Sanjaya to tell his parents, tell my parents that I fought the battle courageously and tell them the unfair way the battle was fought by Pandavas. Also inform my friend Charvaka. Duryodhana had a Rakshasa friend Charvaka. He had many Rakshasa friends who were all killed in the battle. One survived. Charvaka. He was Charvaka. Please tell him that this is how I was insulted. And anyway, I am dying at Samanta Panchaka. I will go to heaven. So he also asked Sanjaya to inform Kripacharya, Kritavarma and Vashwadhama and about the way in which the battle of the maces was done and how the remarks of Balarama also, who never accepted the justification given even by Krishna. So he asked the messengers to inform the same to Ashwadhama. So having been informed, Ashwadhama went that night along with Kritavarma Kripacharya to Duryodhana, and he also wept bitterly, and Duryodhana said, I am happy that at least there are some people who have some affection for me, and I am going to go to heaven. And thereupon Ashwadhama said, I will take a vow now to annihilate Pandavas and take revenge for the death of my father. Thereupon Duryodhana asked Kripacharya to get some water, and he sprinkled holy water, and Ashwadhama, he anointed Ashwadhama the commander-in-chief on behalf of the Kauravas. That is on the 19th day Ashwadhama became. After embracing Duryodhana, all the three left the palace where Duryodhana was still moaning and groaning in all agony. And that is how the Shalya Parva ended. And Ashwadhama in the next Parva, he kills sleeping warriors. So this Duryodhana's friend Charvaka went to the coronation of Yudhishthira and he was abusing Yudhishthira. But the Vedic scholars, there were thousands of Vedic scholars who uttered some mantras and with wrath, Manyusuktam, Humkar, they together did a Humkar and this Rakshasa was killed by the Humkar of the Vedic scholars there. In this chapter, Ashwadhama's personality is fully described in chapter 6 in the Shalya Parva, and that is how the Shalya Parva ends. I hope you enjoyed listening to it. There is so much to learn. Mahabharata is essential. It is to be taught in every MBA college because it is the ultimate manual of human nature and personality development, politics, war, and so many things, relationships, ethics. Jai Shri Ram.